This week on ICN, the stories you should have heard, but didn't. Second Amendment, alive and well in the Nevada desert. More pain ahead for residential and commercial real estate. Pennsylvania school administrators keeping an eye on students at home. Mumps vaccine not working so well in New York. Those stories and more next on Informed Citizen News. Hello and welcome to ICN, Informed Citizen News, February 21st, 2010. Since we started ICN over a year ago, we've covered many stories related to the Second Amendment, where it reads in part, the right of the people to keep and bear arms shall not be infringed. One person in particular, Dr. Ignatius Piazza, believes that right is under attack and will be eroded away completely within 2 generations. Dr. Piazza started Front Sight Training Institute in 1996 to help keep the right to bear arms alive and to change the image of gun ownership. Its mission is to provide the best firearms training facility in the world. Front Sight claims that they now train more students each year than all other shooting schools in the U.S. combined. Located an hour drive west of Las Vegas in Pahrump, Nevada, Front Sight provides over 50 specialized 2- and 4-day courses covering defensive handgun, rifle, shotgun, advanced tactical weapons, as well as self-defense and martial arts. They even have courses for the kids that mix fun activities such as rock climbing and rappelling with more serious topics like predator awareness and self-defense. Front Sight always has special offers, so if you have a firearm or are thinking about getting one, receiving quality training is critical. Studies have shown that trained police who shoot with 99% accuracy on the target range drop to 18% in a real-life shootout. Imagine how the untrained civilian performs. Dr. Piazza claims that after successfully completing Front Sight's 4-day defensive handgun course, you'll be better trained than 90% of law enforcement. And gals, don't just think this is for men only. Many women get self-defense and handgun training at Front Sight. I personally just completed the 4-day defensive handgun course and found it very intense, challenging, and fun. Over the years, Front Sight and its founder have experienced controversy and legal entanglements, but I personally found the operation highly professional and they delivered on their promise. You can check out the links to more Front Sight information under More Info in our video description section. One issue to be aware of is the Obama administration's endorsement of a UN small arms treaty. The terms currently under negotiation would require nations to monitor international trade of small arms. Some believe that this treaty would be an interim step to placing domestic firearms control under UN jurisdiction, because a nation can't monitor, control, and report sales to the UN unless all domestic firearms are federally cataloged. The treaty is said to be at least a year away from being presented to nations for ratification. Moody'sEconomy.com reported that 4 million homeowners are 90 days or more behind on their mortgage. Experts fear that a new wave of foreclosures will hit this year as prolonged unemployment makes it difficult for millions of homeowners to pay their mortgages. And many of them aren't likely to get much help from a federal program aimed at keeping them in their houses. We continue to show this chart of adjustable rate mortgages. It shows that we are in the eye of the storm, with almost as many foreclosures ahead of us as we have seen since 2007. Before the end of this year, it is expected that there will be 2.4 million borrowers that will lose their homes, a 14% increase over 2009 foreclosures. According to a report by the Congressional Oversight Panel for the Bank Bailout Package, $1.4 trillion in commercial real estate loans come due between 2010 and 2014, of which nearly half are now underwater, making it impossible to refinance. The report added that losses from commercial loans could range as high as $200 billion to $300 billion. There are now 702 banks on the FDIC troubled list, a jump of 27% in the last 3 months of 2009. FDIC Chairwoman Sheila Bair told reporters, this year the losses are going to be heavily driven by commercial real estate. Elizabeth Warren, chairman of the Congressional Oversight Panel, said, there's been an enormous bubble in commercial real estate and it has to come down. There will be significant bankruptcies among developers and significant failures among community banks. Between residential and commercial real estate, the punches just keep on coming. In an ominous sign this week, the government said that foreign demand for U.S. Treasury securities fell by the largest amount on record in December, with China reducing its holdings by $34.2 billion. Japan also reduced its holdings of U.S. Treasuries, cutting them by $11.5 billion. The reductions in holdings, if they continue, could force the government to make higher interest payments during a time of record federal deficits. China's holdings are a result of the huge trade deficits the United States runs with China. The Chinese take the dollars Americans pay for Chinese products and invest them in Treasury securities and other dollar-denominated assets. It's a good deal for America as we give China paper in exchange for manufactured goods. It's a good deal, that is, until the music stops and China no longer wishes to dance. A new report by Pew shows that state pension plans are $1 trillion short of funds to meet retiree obligations. In an attempt to address the shortfall, states are reducing benefits to new workers, extending the minimum retirement age, and offering a 401k plan to current workers. States have not been keeping up with required payments into the system over the years, even during the good years. The report did not take into account the 25% decline in the stock market, as 60% of pension plan assets are invested in stocks. Ajinomoto Food Seasoning Company, a maker of aspartame artificial sweetener, has decided to rename their product AminoSweet and to refer to it as a natural sweetener. Naturalnews.com, an advocate for natural health, said this move is a tactic to fool those who would otherwise avoid aspartame. Some studies and researchers claim aspartame can be harmful. The FDA stands by their approval that it's safe. Aspartame was originally discovered accidentally by a chemist working for G.D. Searle & Company in 1965. G.D. Searle, led by Don Rumsfeld from 1976 to 1985, was sold to Monsanto in 1985, and the patent on aspartame expired in 1992. Since then, several companies have been manufacturing and marketing aspartame. A Pennsylvania teacher confronted a student accusing him of taking drugs. The teacher's evidence? A snapshot photo from the student's laptop webcam that was activated remotely by school personnel while the student was at home in his bedroom. This according to a lawsuit filed by parents against the Lower Merion School District in Pennsylvania that claims invasion of privacy. The teenager has said that he was holding Mike and Ike candy in his hand and that the assistant principal thought they might be drugs. The district defended the Harriton High administrator who confronted the student, saying she has been unfairly portrayed and unjustly attacked in connection with her attempts to be supportive of a student and his family. Since the suit was filed, federal prosecutors have issued a subpoena and Montgomery County authorities have opened their own probe. Meanwhile, the district has apologized for not telling parents about the remotely activated webcams, and it has hired a law firm to conduct an internal investigation and recommend policy changes. More than 1,000 people in New Jersey and New York have been infected with mumps since last August. The mumps outbreak began at a summer camp for Orthodox Jewish boys in Sullivan County, New York, according to the CDC. Health officials have linked the outbreak to an 11-year-old boy at the camp. He had recently returned from the United Kingdom, where a mumps outbreak had spread to 4,000 people. The most striking fact about this story is that 77% of those infected were vaccinated, specifically for the mumps. According to the CDC, the vaccine is 76 to 95% effective. The CDC may have to revisit that claim. A Swedish study claims that the flu vaccine administered to seniors is no more effective than opening windows and washing hands regularly. Tom Jefferson, one of the authors of the report, said, "Our analysis is compiled using millions of data from 40 seasons worldwide. What we have seen is that the influenza vaccine can at best have very small effect." The institute that conducted the study recommends a larger international state-financed study to examine the vaccine and existing healthcare recommendations. Thanks for joining us again this week. Keep spreading the word about ICN and help us get the real news out to our fellow Americans. From all of us at Informed Citizen News, we'll see you next week.